This is the place I come to touch and smell and see. We're in Pembrokeshire. We're on the coast, somewhere between Fisk and Newport, and it's wild and wonderful. We're in the centre of the universe. This is where it is. It's the best place in the world. It's special because we've measured our growing and our changing here. So each year we'd come, we wouldn't have been during the year. As the children would walk through the door, I would see them as they'd been the year before and see how much they'd grown and changed. And strangely, as they've grown older and grown up, it's me I'm noticing, and my husband. We walk through that door and I see how much we too have changed. I do a lot of thinking here, and as much as I do family things, I'll get up early and go off on my own somewhere and just sit and think. It's useful to me to have thoughts that come and go and get lost. Nothing really is lost, and once you've thought it, and it's gathered in there somewhere, and it'll come out again one day. We've always called it flat stones because there's a lot of slate on the beach, worn smooth into flat grey stones. And we've had all sorts of family parties and special things there. It's special in its own right because it is a beautiful place. There's spectacular cliffs with all sorts of wonderful colours, greys and slate greys and reds and all sorts of mixtures of colours. And then behind it all you've got Dinas Common with its outcrops of stones on the top, and behind all of that you've got the Preseli Hills which roll on for miles. We went down to a little beach which I always think of as Grace's beach because it was always her favourite. Again, it was a little bit of a scramble to get down there. This is a beach that I used when I was writing my novel Telling the Sea. It's also somewhere that we like to go and swim because it's like a little private swimming pool with cliffs around it, and you'll get butterflies on the cliffs. The book is the story of a single mum and her 5 children. Mum is escaping an abusive relationship with the father of the youngest of the children, and the family is a frightened family. The story begins with them getting into the furniture van, posting the note through the door to say they've gone, and heading off. And they've got to go somewhere which is as far away as they can possibly get because they know this man will come after them. I wrote the book getting on for 20 years ago. It's every bit as relevant now as it ever was, and the things it says are as relevant now as they ever were, which is why I've decided to bring it out again. This place made me write about it. It's as simple as that. I didn't make any decisions in that respect. So I think that writing the book was a way of continuing to live in this place. I've used the cottage as the place which the family comes to. They get down here, they've run away as far as they can possibly go. Even when they get to the beach, that's not far enough. They have to disappear into the common, into this little cottage that Mum used to come to when she was a child. And once they get here, they set about the business of making a life for themselves, overcome their various wounds and be a family to each other. My comfort has always come from writing. It's my way of making sense of the world around me. I think it's as simple as that. I'm not an abstract thinker. I work things out in words. So I've always told stories. It's just a part of who I am. There was something else rooted here that I had to write. So I just went with the ideas that were filling up in my little notebook and started working on my computer, trying to see where they might take me. And that was the sort of genesis of Telling the Sea, really. There were all sorts of oddments, little snippets of stories, characters that I'd met down here that I wanted to hang on to and that seemed precious, and they somehow got woven into the fabric of the story, so that it became a bit of a celebration, really. Looking back at it, getting on for 20 years later, people are still living out the things that I saw people doing here 20 years ago. Maybe it's different people, but there's something extraordinary about these places at the end of the world. People have interesting relationships with wild places like this, And it's still going on, and I think the things I wrote about all those years ago are just as relevant today.